Like you, I found out about meditation, like, oh, it helps you focus and it makes you a better person. And then from meditation, I got into like other spiritual aspects of self-improvement, and I wound up at Buddhism, and I was following all these hardline, no-nonsense Buddhist channels, and it made me more nihilistic than before. My name's Louis Angel, I make self-improvement videos, and this video I'm going to show you how you can use Buddhism without falling into the nihilistic trap, and this also has applications in Stoicism. How you can use Buddhism to be more positive, but also just how to approach spirituality in general in self-improvement. So to add to what we were saying before, I found this hardline no nonsense Buddhist channel like called Hillside Hermitage, and it sounded to me like everything they were saying was in line with what I saw in the original Buddhist sources, like the Pali Canon. Like, they were very no-nonsense about it. And some of the things that they talked about were like, they were criticizing like people in self-improvement who tried to say like, okay, like maybe like this person makes me upset, but let's assume the best possible thing. Maybe they just went through a divorce. Maybe someone died for them today. You know, all these things to justify. And they were like, well, no, don't try to justify it. Just accept that maybe they're just a bad person and like just be okay with the discomfort. And this channel, like, Buddhism talks a lot about that. Like, be okay with the discomfort. Maybe the worst case scenario is the best. Maybe you will fail. Maybe yada, 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 all these worst case scenario things. And it's like, be okay with that. And I don't think that's a problem. Like, I was gonna say I think that that's a problem, but actually it is a good mental technique, but not for someone at your level or my level. Not for someone who's still like in the beginning phases of self-improvement, so to speak. Not for someone who still has not beginning phase, but for someone who still doesn't have mastery over their negative thoughts. If you are a person who still like is still not eating the best, still not going to the gym as much as you want to, still like doing you're doing the work, you're making headway, but you still struggle to do the work consistently, you probably have lots of negative thoughts. And in that case, for you, like, no, positive visualization is good. You should imagine the best thing possible. So what this reminded me of is like a year ago, like literally exactly a year ago, around this time, May, April, I got into like visualization by the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And I was doing that for a while, and it really, really improved my mood and really got me doing work better. And then I sort of fell off it for a while, I guess, in favor of spirituality, like Buddhism and stuff like that. But after focusing on like Buddhism and Christianity and other religions for like all summer and then like the fall, I sort of rediscovered the science, modern psychology aspect of self-improvement, like positive psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. If you're on this channel, you're probably familiar with another form of CBT, but we won't talk about that. And I find it to be very, very, very helpful for me. Like this, because like when you look at the spiritual sources like Buddhism and Christianity and Islam and Hinduism, like there's a part of you that's like, is this all really right? Like, isn't it just like written by a bunch of priests who were like essentially the nerds of their day? Like is this really all legitimate, or is it just positive wishy-washy thinking to make myself feel better? And then you read these psychology studies that have actual numbers and statistics to back them up, and they're saying all the same things, like, yeah, visualize the best possible future and work towards it, like, have positive thoughts, think about yourself, like, and it turns out, like, yes, it turns out, like, being in a positive mood does help you do work and accomplish things in life better. It turns out, yeah, being in a negative mood is going to naturally make it harder for you to do work. So after I went through all that and I was thinking about like the way Buddhism had me acting, like, yeah, like maybe don't visualize the best possible future. In fact, visualize the worst possible future and focus on being okay with that. Back to my main conclusion, that can be good, but probably not for you and probably not for me. You probably have to be very advanced to do that. And also, too, I realize now I wasn't doing the last step, which is like, okay, yes, visualize a negative future and visualize being okay with it, but also, like, follow up with it. Like, what could you do in this situation to make yourself better? Like, okay, I failed this test. Realistically, is that the end of the world? No, you could take the class again. You could, like, continue working to get a higher grade. You could talk with the professor, maybe some extra credit. There's other things you can do. And at the end, when you finish, you can still visualize the best possible future to get yourself out of it. Like, that's the concluding factor. You, like, think about the things you could do to minimize the negative effects of the situation, and also visualize the best possible future at the end in order to get yourself out of it. But in conclusion, like, Buddhism, great. Take what you will from it. Like, I still like to read about Buddhism, but not as much. Christianity, Hinduism, whatever, but like, if it gets you, and Stoicism especially, Stoicism might make you pretty nihilistic. Like, if you find yourself reading these religious texts, these spiritual texts, to the point that it makes you too nihilistic, go for maybe positive psychology, cognitive behavioral psychology. It's very scientific, and statistic-wise, I think it really helps. And also, like, yes, visualize the best possible case scenario. Like, because if you imagine it, if you believe in it, you're much more likely to go for it. If you are not doing the hard work, like making the YouTube videos or doing the art or like writing the book, it's because you don't believe you can do it. And why don't you believe you can do it? Because you imagine yourself failing over and over again. Like, yes, imagine the best possible case scenario. Imagine yourself succeeding, because that's going to make you believe it more, and that's going to make you more likely to actually do it. Like, yes, by all means, imagine the best possible case. To leave you off with something more tangible, all I can say is, like, visualization. Read the book by Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, but to give you something like immediate, you don't have to research like visualization like for 1 hour in order to find how to do it correctly. I watched like the whole like 1 hour, 2 hour maybe like Huberman Lab podcast where they talk about visualization, and like a lot of it was literally just not necessary. The main takeaway is like you do have to visualize something real, so like ideally you would like just start the task and then visualize something you've already done. Like, it's easy for me to visualize doing YouTube videos because I've already done it. That's the key. You have to actually do it, and that makes it better. But like, it's exactly what it sounds like. Just take 15 to 30 seconds and visualize yourself like at the very end of doing the thing. So like for YouTube videos, I imagine myself uploading the video, and I imagine myself building the community with these videos so that I can eventually make money off of it. And I tried to like visualize it, like the real image and the feeling, like it's actually happening to you, and it makes your brain like psyched up to do it, and it also feels more natural, like more within reach. Like, it doesn't seem like this far away thing that's gonna be like, I did it, I became a YouTuber. It's gonna be more like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. Like, it's just natural. So it's not like I'm not giving you very like hard instructions, but it's really very intuitive. Like, just visualize the best possible future as much as you can. That's it for today. Hope you learned something from this, and remember, it's not learning if your behavior doesn't change. All right, see you around, brother.